Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Brew. Our special in-studio guest this morning is Jim Thornton, Mayor of the City of LaGrange. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Thank you for having me on.
Good. And we'll start off the interview talking about one of the new additions that will be coming to LaGrange. And then after Mayor Thornton has given you his insight, we'll open up the phone lines just in case you have a couple of questions you would like to ask him. We know on last week a few of you had some questions that you would like answered. But so everybody know that the great big wolf is coming.
The great wolf is coming to LaGrange, opening in 2018.
2018.
We don't have a more precise date yet, but I'm hoping spring, but we'll see. But it's a very exciting time. I think it's going to be a good thing for LaGrange, for the whole region. It's an investment. The Great Wolf Company is investing $150 million of their own money to build a 450-room hotel, 93,000 square foot indoor water park, plus additional amenities. And so it's a big investment on their part, and there are approximately 600 jobs. Some of those are part-time, but it's a good diversification. I tell people, Kevin, there are three reasons. There are three reasons I'm most excited about the Great Wolf Project. One is, a goal of mine has been to diversify our job base.
Okay.
We do a fabulous job recruiting industries, manufacturers,
right,
automobile industry, textile, high tech, etc. Not everybody wants to work in a plant. And so we're now shifting and trying to recruit service sector, hospitality sector jobs, and this will help us in that way. A second thing that I'm excited about is the location.
All right.
Great Wolf is locating at Exit 13. Historically, all of our commercial and retail development has been at Exit 18
right,
off of the interstate. Exit 13, quite frankly, has been neglected. And I'm excited that we're now going to see a lot of commercial and retail development at Exit 13 on the south side of the city. I think that's a good thing. And then the biggest reason, people say, why did you recruit Great Wolf? We recruited Great Wolf to LaGrange not because we were after a hotel or a water park necessarily. We're glad they're coming. I think that'll be good for us. We recruited Great Wolf because typically where Great Wolves locate, whether it's north of Charlotte in a little town called Concord, outside Kansas City, whether it's in Grapevine, Texas, etc., wherever Great Wolves locate, they tend to bring ancillary businesses with them, restaurants, retail, etc. And that is something that people in LaGrange have been asking about for years. We don't know that that's going to happen, but we are hopeful that pattern will continue, and that we'll start to see a lot of development at Exit 13 in the retail sector.
Okay. Now, when just in case people are wondering, when you're off of Exit 13, is it right off the exit? How far back,
you will have incredible visibility from the interstate.
All right.
From the interstate, you will see the water park and the hotel. It will be you won't be able to miss it. The location, and Great Wolf has actually purchased the land. Great Wolf actually purchased 45 acres right off the interstate. It is, if you come off the interstate and you come towards LaGrange, okay, so you come north on 219, it's on your right.
Okay.
There's actually, I think, an Arby's, like a little Arby's right there. It's literally right behind there, 45 acres right behind there. Complete frontage on the interstate. The access point will be off of Pegasus Parkway. The city and the county have been planning for a couple of years now to extend Pegasus Parkway, where it currently dead ends at 219, to extend it and line it up with Davis Bypass Road. And so you'll actually access the park off of Pegasus, but it will front onto the interstate.
Okay. Now, how did LaGrange really become involved and being in this process with being a potential location?
Yeah. The dirty little secret here is that Great Wolf had no interest in being in LaGrange.
All right.
They had no interest in being in Peachtree City. They had no interest in being in Noonan or Cumming. They wanted to be in Atlanta because Metro Atlanta is a huge market. I mean, I think, what's the population of Metro Atlanta? Over 4 million now.
Yeah.
They wanted to serve Metro Atlanta. But, so they looked around and they identified a location in Peachtree City, which is pretty close to Metro Atlanta, obviously. They found a piece of property there that was an old hotel that they would have to spend a lot of money renovating. It adjoined a residential neighborhood in Peachtree City of single-family homes. And so when Great Wolf asked for a rezoning from the Peachtree City Council, it was approved by their planning commission. Their planning commission said, yes, let's move forward with this. But the neighbors in the adjoining residential neighborhood came to the city council. This has happened in our council meetings before. The neighbors came and said, not in my backyard. We don't want them there right next to our neighborhood. And the Peachtree City Council turned down the rezoning. That happened in April of last year, so April of 2015. That was the first I knew anything about this when I read the Atlanta Journal and saw that Peachtree City had turned down the rezoning. Really thought nothing more about it.
Right.
About a month later, in May of 2015, I got a call, and the call was a couple of executives from Great Wolf are interested in a site in LaGrange. They would like to meet with you and our late city manager, Tom Hall. So Tom and I went and had lunch with him at Longhorn, by the interstate here in LaGrange. They talked to us about their plans. At that time, they were looking at a couple of dozen other locations.
Okay.
And other cities were recruiting them. Other cities were calling them up and saying, hey, if Peachtree City doesn't want you, come here. So they were looking around at a number of locations. They narrowed it down to just 2 or 3. And over the summer, there was a lot of discussion between the company and our city manager, Tom Hall, about location, utilities, incentives, the whole ball of wax. And so last October of 2015, the city council, the county commission, the school board reviewed potential plans for a Great Wolf. At that time, it was just conceptual, just an idea. What if? What if they chose us? What would it look like? And so we had those discussions. They were, on the front page of the local newspaper last October that Great Wolf may be coming to LaGrange, and because it was just an idea at the time. Over the course of the winter, our city manager negotiated some more with the company, and in February of this year, the city council, county commission, and school board all approved some MOUs, memorandums of understanding. Basically, that was us agreeing to the terms of the deal, the company agreeing, etc. And then we kind of went on hold because the company also needed to be designated a tourism product by the state of Georgia under the Tourism Development Tax Credit Act. That's a technical thing with the state. So the company started working on that in February, and they just found out late May that they were approved by Governor Deal and the state of Georgia to be designated a tourism location. And so once that was done, the deal was final. It took several weeks for the company to get their PR together and their press release and so forth. But they announced it last week that they're coming to LaGrange. So kind of an interesting process. Lots of issues and details that had to be talked about and worked out. But I mean, it was a very transparent process. Somebody was asking me the other day about it, and they said they didn't know anything about it, and I said, well, obviously you don't read the newspapers because I think there was October, February, March. There were headlines on the front page of LaGrange Daily News because all of these things that we did were in public meetings. All of these approvals of the tax incentives locally were done. They were all done unanimously, I might add, unanimously by the City Council, County Commission, and School Board, all approved in public meetings. I think it's going to be a good thing for LaGrange. Right. Time will tell. But the way I look at it, Kevin, we, I've been asked about incentivizing the hotel and the resort. I'm like, well, we treated them just like we would an industry. When industry comes to town and they want to open a new plant, we look at two major factors. How much of their money are they investing?
Right.
And how many jobs are they creating? And we have a sliding scale. I mean, we gave a lot more incentive to Kia and so forth. It's more jobs, it's more investment, et cetera, sure. But if a company comes to town and they want to invest $150 million of their money, create 600 jobs, that's pretty good for LaGrange. That's a pretty good thing.
Right.
Plus, we are hopeful that we'll get some of that spillover retail and commercial development.
Is there any projection of that spillover retail?
Georgia Tech, part of the process of going through the state for the tourism tax credit, part of the process is you have to do an economic development study. And so the state and Great Wolf, we weren't involved in this, but the state and Great Wolf worked with Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech did an economic development study that projected some additional commercial and retail development, projected, I think, about over $50 million a year in economic benefit to Troup County. Even more benefit to the state of Georgia because of sales tax and some of those sorts of things. So that has been studied. Listen, I'm generally a skeptic. So I know people. A lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people think that I'm pie in the sky and everything's great. I mean, I work to be an optimist. I'm a lawyer. Lawyers are trained to be skeptics.
Right.
Really, to be cynics. We're trained to be cynics. I never want to overpromise something. I'm excited that Great Wolf is coming because of what it means for our community. I don't want to go out on a limb and say, we're going to get so many new retail or restaurants or anything like that. But I will tell you, people who are more optimistic than me, people who are developers and so forth, they're very excited about this. They think that this is really going to be great, that this is going to bring a lot of new development to town. I hope they're right, and I hope Georgia Tech is right, because I think it will just confirm a lot of the reasons that we did incentivize and go after the Great Wolf.
Okay, all right. The mayor has about 3 or 4 more minutes, just in case callers you would like to call in and ask the mayor a quick question. He's open to that.
I am absolutely open to it. And talking about being open, a lot of people have asked about, can locals go to the water park? And the answer to that is yes, it's open to locals, but you have to buy a room at the hotel. So, a local can go and purchase a night at the water park, at the hotel, and have full access to the water park and all of the amenities. That is Great Wolf's model. Their model is, it's an integrated resort. It's all in one. You stay there, you have access to the park, etc. I have no idea what I'm assuming that they will do some sort of midweek deals. They're difficult. Their peak time is the weekend, but certainly I think in other locations they do midweek specials and things like that, and I would certainly encourage locals to do that, to take advantage of that. But it's ultimately, they are a private business, and that is their business model. Is if you do stay at the resort, you have access to the amenities.
Okay, we'll take a quick call right
absolutely.
Here. Morning, Brew, you on the air?
Yes, I would like to ask the mayor about the property where man sewers used to be. What's going to happen to that?
That's been an interesting ongoing process. My expectation is that the building will come down probably in the next 30 days. Demolition will begin, and then construction. We had one, people say this has taken 5 years. It has taken 5 years. Here's the deal. There was one developer working on it for about 4 years. They couldn't put the deal together. They couldn't get financing, so that ended up basically falling apart. In December of 2014, a new developer, some folks out of Carrollton, who just opened the Courtyard by Marriott in downtown Carrollton, they called us up and they said, we would be interested in taking over the deal. They took it over in the spring of last year. So about a year later, they're ready to go. And they're ready to go. They're chomping at the bit. We discovered, as part of this process, that there used to be a gas station on that location. I mean, my whole life, that was man sewers. That's all that I ever knew was there.
Right.
But apparently back in the 30s, there was a gas station on that property. Well, if anybody's ever been involved in a construction project on a commercial basis, if you ever have a gas station, you have to go and bore ground to make sure that the gas tanks didn't leak, et cetera, et cetera. That's been done. It's clean.
Wow.
So I think we're now ready to go. We've turned over the environmental to the company. That was the last hurdle. So I think the hotel is going to happen. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. So there's going to be a lot of activity going on in LaGrange over the next year and a half, and I'm excited about it.
Okay. All right. Maybe we'll take one more call.
Yeah,
and we'll let you
absolutely.
get out of here. Morning, Brew. You're on the air.
How about Kevin?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. So, Mayor, you telling me that the water park, if you're a troop cow LaGrange right in there, you can't go to the water park unless you stay there, right?
That is correct. That is their business model. They don't
You got
sell.
to tell your kids and your grandkids we can't go to the water park because we got to go around the state. We got a home here. We got to go around the state, but we can't afford to go around the state, right?
That is exactly right. That is exactly right, and that is their business model.
It might benefit some jobs here, but I don't see everything you got to do around the Grand Canyon, you got to go out of town to do it.
Well, let me suggest this. If you have a family, husband, wife, 3 kids, if the 5 want to go to Whitewater in Atlanta, by the time you buy the 5 tickets, by the time you buy the gas, by the time you take your time, hour and a half each way, et cetera, to Six Flags, pick your amusement park, you're spending a good bit of money. So if I were that same family, couple with 3 kids, I can go out here and I can buy a Saturday night room. It might be $200 or $300, but I can buy that room, and that would give me access to the water park Saturday and Sunday. So I'm getting 2 days use of the water park, I'm buying a hotel room. Sure, I get that, but if you think about it from an economic standpoint, I still think it's a pretty good opportunity for locals to take advantage of. And I am assuming that because Friday and Saturdays are obviously their busy times, I'm assuming that in the summer, on a Tuesday or Wednesday, they might run a special, room rate. But yes, that is their business model. It's an integrated resort where you stay at the resort, you have unlimited access to the park. You don't just go and buy a single day use pass.
And you also said X18's got a lot more stuff than the other ones. The only thing X18 has got is steakhouse that you can't get in, can't afford to go to, and Chick-fil-A.
Right. There's a lot of commercial activity at exit 18. I mean, there's.
Nobody tries to come in this town to sign ordinance, steak shack try to come.
Yeah.
And nobody comes called the sign ordinance.
Yeah, that's a complete myth. The sign ordinance has.
No, I know it's a myth.
No, it's a myth. It's a myth. It's not true.
You got to go out of town to get anything to eat different. Yeah. You got to go out of town to shop different.
Right. Well,
this town is just, I don't know.
Well, I understand. I hear what you're saying, that a lot of people in LaGrange want more retail and commercial development. I've been hearing that for years. Okay, that's nothing new. We have tried marketing LaGrange. We have tried knocking on doors. The city of LaGrange and the Chamber of Commerce for 3 years now have spent tens of thousands of dollars sending people to shopping center conventions, knocking on doors of restaurants, knocking on doors of retailers. That has been a focus. And everyone tells us the same thing. You're too small. Mm-hmm. Everyone tells us. People say, well... Spent that money on keeping the ones you had here, like everyone... Yeah, let me please finish. Everyone says you're too small. You're too small. Coweta County has 135,000 people. Auburn, Opelika, Lee County has 150,000 people. Troup County has 70. We're half the size of Noonan. We're half the size of Lee County. We're probably, a fourth the size of Columbus. So we're just too small. But what they also told us was that if you could find some way to boost your population or have more transient population, visitors and so forth, you might have an opportunity to attract more retail and more commercial. And so that is part of our hope with Great Wolf. Great Wolf is projecting 500,000 visitors a year to this location. That will be a reason for restaurants and retailers to say, I'm interested in locating there in LaGrange, not necessarily because they're a big city, but because they have these other people coming into their town on a weekly basis. So that is our hope. I can't let the sign ordinance comment go though, because I am telling you that the sign I've been on the city council 4 years and as mayor for 2. In that 6-year time, not a single business has refused to come to LaGrange because of the sign ordinance. Not one. Not one business. Not true. No, but it had nothing to do with the sign ordinance. If I had repealed the sign ordinance, Steak and Shake still could not have put the sign where they wanted to. They didn't own the land. They didn't own the land where they wanted to put the sign. They wanted. I'm just saying it is a myth. It is a myth about the sign ordinance. I had an interesting conversation recently with people about this. I mean, I don't know how that got going, but I'm telling you, in 6 years, there has not been one business that has not been able to come to LaGrange because of the sign ordinance. That is just a complete myth, fabrication. I just want to clear that up.
Okay, all right, folks, we're going to have to invite the mayor back. He's very, very busy. He has a meeting he has to get to, but thank you for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Kevin. Anytime.
Okay.